Hey guys, that's some strong delay. Why is there so much delay? All right, whatever. Okay, so I wanted to continue, yes, last Wednesday's thingamabob with a quick look at the print and then some things you can do when you start designing stuff. So this was the original print, and if we take a look at it, there are a few things wrong. I don't have the lens notch or the pin notch, right? So the way it locks onto the mount, and then the mounting holes are actually they should be rotated 90 degrees. And then the one piece I didn't like too much, so I split it off into two pieces so that I could get a better look and a better connection. So this is two pieces, and then I increased the diameter um, of the adapter or of the mount so that it matches with the Sony E-mount. Oh boy, that's super dusty. After this, I've got to do a good cleaning on the lens. This one, interior diameter was too small in the print, so I just slightly enlarged it. And then the lens uh, pin notch was off slightly. It's still off maybe like a degree or two, but it's serviceable. On this one, I've actually missed infinity. If I am correct, I am uh, a tiny bit forward or too far away from the sensor, like maybe a millimeter or two. So, I mean, okay, I didn't miss infinity. I've gone past infinity, so it's sitting closer to the sensor than it should be. So I just got to increase the distance here a little bit, and then it should work. But all these measurements are off the old one, and you can see it mounts just fine. And it used to be this guy here, this Micro Four Thirds mount. So I mean, you can adapt whatever you want really, um, without too much trouble. And then FreeCAD, we'll be using this little drawing here so that we can get dimensions, because we've got to think a little differently when we work with a parametric CAD software like FreeCAD. Um, but before we get into that, just wanted to take a quick look at a few things that I've done with it, with the 3D printing in relation to lens mounts and modifying hoods and whatnot. So, what we have here are three fisheye lenses, two from Samyang and or Rokinon. I think, yeah, this is the Rokinon. This is the Samyang 8mm for DSLR. This is the main one that I use for 360 virtual tours right here. I tried to use the mirrorless 8mm. I don't like how it renders the image. I don't know, for some reason, uh, the what I think is happening is the bulbous shape here affects its overall rendering in terms of depth, um, and extreme distortion. With this bigger glass element, everything seems a little more natural versus this smaller one. this seems a little flatter, and the perspective seems, when you stitch the photos together, it seems just slightly closer. But I wanted to bring these up because there's loads you can do instead of having to buy like a Nodal Ninja or something like that. All my mounts have a 5-degree tilt from the center point or from the nodal point, right? So it's tilted from the nodal point or it's they call it the entrance pupil, so that's where you should be rotating it from. So everything on the center axis is aligned, and then we get that point, we tilt it 5 degrees so that we can cover the zenith. The nadir is either patched out or you put a logo over it. But I like to add, a cold shoe so that I can drop in spirit levels, and I can check to make sure that my initial shot is level, and then if I really want to, I can check every subsequent shot, right? But so long as that first shot's level, I can go ahead with the pano. But yeah, this is a really simple setup, right? I have got a cutout here so I can read the aperture that I'm at. I can still focus in and out. And then what I did with this one is originally it comes with a hood, uh, a non-removable hood, right? But you can take that part off, and then I just 3D printed a replacement. So what I can do is I can either use the lens cap that I made, rotates and locks on, or if I really wanted to use this on APS-C so I don't have any flaring, I can throw the hood back on, and then I can use another cap, and that just press fits on, and we're good to go. I will release the STLs once I'm happy with it. I mean, like I am pretty happy with it. It's just I've got to make sure installation is fairly straightforward, and it is for the most part. It's just making sure people don't are comfortable enough with taking off this. Let me show you. So all Samyang does, or Rokinon does, is this is just glued on, right? So we just find a way to lift that ring off, and then we take lens ring or calipers and remove this section, and then this hood is attached via screw, via 4 screws. So then we just replace it, and then we replace this, and I need to find a good adhesive so that this actually stays on. It's like a dust cover to prevent dust from going inside the lens. But yeah, that's coming soon, and I guess I'll throw up this pano mount too, right? So this just it'll lock into either you can buy one of these. They're indexed pano heads. You just drop it in there. It's a 60 millimeter Arca Swiss. Just drop it in, bam, you're good to go. This 1032. It's a 1032 screw, right? So you just tighten it down, so you don't have to worry about setting anything up, right? You just drop it on your tripod, and you're good to go. Then, this was the Makey 6.5 millimeter for APS-C. This is a full circular fisheye lens. And again, I just didn't like the rendering. that it gave with it. I was using an A6300 with this one, and what I found was it was always very noisy, and I did not like the way that it rendered. Um, but what I did with this one was Makey has a stepless iris or aperture, so I printed an insert to lock it at f8, um, and then this is locked with set screws here, here, and here. So I cannot move it, right? So it's stuck in one place, and then all I have to do is make sure that I'm at the 1 meter mark, and then everything should be in focus for the pano. I wouldn't recommend this, Mickey. I don't think it's a good lens for 360 photography. Mainly because I think the overall image quality isn't as good as uh, it isn't as good as other as it's not as good as other lenses at that price. My recommendation would probably be this 8 mm from Rokinon. It's the F 3.5. This is Mark II, and that means it has the removable hood, which means you can use it on full frame to get a cropped fisheye, so that you get more resolution in the end panorama. I like the way this renders more than the 8 mm for Sony APS-C. But again, uh, entrance pupil somewhere in this in between here, right? So it's somewhere there. Um, it is perpendicular with center of the mount, and then rotated 5 degrees off of that, like that. Again, to cover the zenith, and then we patch out the nadir. This, I'm going to throw this cold shoe design in instead, so that I can actually get a reasonable reading off the spirit level. But I needed this section cut out to lock it into this um, index pano head. And so this doesn't come with this Arca Swiss bracket. I printed it, and then I printed it so that I could lock it into place. So this becomes, just one dedicated 360 rig. Um, I'm still probably gonna print my own panel, index panel, so people don't have to buy it. But um, yeah, I found that the Rokinon 8 mm f 3.5 for DSLRs, it gives me the most. It gives me the image that I like the most pleasing image, right? But this one is actually for Nikon, right? You've got the Nikon electronic connections there, but I use it with this adapter uh, so that I can use it on my Sony. And I use a lot of Nikon lenses simply because they still have the iris, or the manual aperture iris control, which is, why I like a lot of these older or these Samyang lenses, just because they do still have that manual control there. But yeah, that's something else you can do. You can make, custom mounts, so you don't have to buy um, what I think are way overpriced mounts. And then the probably the last thing I'll do, probably with this one, is um, hook it up with an Arduino, and then just uh, make it automated, right? You just set it, and then you level it, set it, and then it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. So you don't have to do any work. Makes it easier for you. Makes it easier for me. But yeah. Okay, so let's get into uh, let's get into the FreeCAD design with this guy here, this Samyang 12 millimeter. So the way Shaperd works, the way that I was able to generate this is a parasolid design. So what that means is, you can push and pull, you can manually manipulate the object you're working on, which makes ideation and prototyping much easier, much quicker. But with parametric modeling, like with FreeCAD or the majority of PC softwares you'll find, you have to adjust the way that you think so that you can effectively create or design um, something, right? So with this, I made multiple circles and just extruded them. But with FreeCAD, what I'm going to do is we're going to take the profile of this, right? So we're going to cut this in the middle. We're going to profile it out. And then from that initial profile, we're going to revolve it so that we get the full steps. And then we'll go in and make a plane on top here so that we can cut the flanges out like that. And then the flanges and also the mounting holes and the lens pin there. And then we'll have to cut out. Depending on how I choose to do it, we'll have to cut out the inside here, or we can just do it with the initial revolve. So yeah, let's get into it. So I'm on an older version of FreeCAD, FreeCAD 18, and I know I don't have to be. I after I got Shaperd, I kind of just put it to the wayside. So I'm in FreeCAD. I've got a new part. I'm gonna go here and click this, and we're gonna make a new body. Go over to tasks and create a sketch. This gives you isometric view, and I'm gonna do it on the one of the Z planes, right? The X or Y Z plane. Probably do it on X Z plane, and that brings me here. So FreeCAD, it it differs so much from Shaperd that, like I said, you have to think differently when you make things. So you're concerned with constraints. Everything that FreeCAD is concerned with is constraints, and that's it, right? So let's say the first dimension that I want is I'll probably just do 55 so that it simplifies everything for me. 55, and this, we can cut that off. We don't actually need that. Uh, Let me pull up. Okay, so this is actually going to be 3 because I inset it from the inside here. There's an actual step like that. So we're going to go 3 millimeters plus the 6.2. So we'll get 9.2 millimeters, and that's what we're going to do first. So we have our first line over here, and I'm going to just draw it out. And then I want to be able to constrain it. Well, first I actually need this point. I need this point constrained to that. So I'm going to I'm gonna, alright, fine. I'm actually just gonna give it a position. So a horizontal position. And the interior of this hole, I believe should be 23, so that interior is going to be 23 millimeters. We're on the negative side. That's my bad. We're going to change that to negative 23. And then this point here is going to be constrained to so this is going to be the 55, so 55 divided by 2. 27.5, right? Is that right? That's right, 27.5. 27.5. Negative 27.5. So, we're good right now, right? Our constraints, good. We've got 1 degree of freedom, which I guess, I want to constrain that there. How do I do that? All right, all right. Let's see where it is. There we go. It's fully constrained. So it's at 0, 0. That's at 0, 0. We can start building from here. We're going to add another line from this point here. And this should be our 9.2. So if I select both of these, I want to constrain those two. And then this point here, I guess we can, I'll do the length. The length should be 9.2 millimeters. So we've got that constrained. And then from there, we need to add this stair step and then another one for the flange. So we've got 46.75. Let me get the calculator for this here. Oops. $46.75 divided by 2 is 23,375. So let's add that in. Let's get another line. Drag that out and over. I want to constrain that to be 90. It won't let me do that for some reason. I want to constrain those. So now I can't do that. Okay, perfect. I want this length to be constrained to, you know what? We're going to change this position of this vertex. We're going to say that's 23 and 23.375. So now we're getting closer to what we want here. We need to raise up 1.3 millimeters. So we're going to go back here, draw a line, and then we're going to attach those together. And this guy should be horizontal like that. And then we're going to change the position of this guy. You know what? We'll do length. Length, I think, works better here. So 1.3. Then we've got another line that we need. These two will be connected, and that's got the horizontal, what do you call it, constraint already. So we're going to change the location of this vertex, and this one is going to be this guy here, this interior one. So I know it's hard to see here, but we're looking at 21.75 for the 21.75 for that. So that's our flange step there. So let's go ahead and just add another line there. And I want to constrain these two guys. Oop. And then I need this guy to be vertical. And then the length is going to be 2.4. Oops. The length 2.4. Enter. Now we're going to create another line. And again, I want to constrain those guys, and this guy needs to be horizontal, so we do that. I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to change the location of this vertex. And come on. That is going to be, this one is hard to see too. It's this guy here, 23. So we're at a 46 millimeter for the flange. So 23. Make them 23. And then we need another line to go up, 1.6 millimeters. This guy, vertical length 1.6. All right, and then so the way this works is it goes over, drops straight down, and then creates a there's a conical shape, and then drops straight down again for this internal circle here. So this first one, if we look here, is going to be 18. I'm going to call it straight 18. I don't know why it's 18.7. So let's draw another line. I know there are easier ways to do this. I'll definitely post some tutorials that I think explain this much better than my clumsy explanations. So that's good there. Then we're going to drop down. Make that vertical. I want this length to be about 4 millimeters. It's not on the drawing, but that's what I want it to be. And then we'll do what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw two lines so that I can get ahead of what I need to do. So that guy and that guy need to be joined together. It's got that. And I want this angle here to be 45 minus 180 is 135 degrees. Good. And then, oh, actually, this guy needs to be vertical. Get that out of the way. Delete that, get that out of the way. This needs to be vertical. Like that. Perfect. And then the position here on this guy, its horizontal position needs to be, this interior one is 14, so we're going to go negative 14. And after that, doesn't really matter what we do. I'll give this an arbitrary length of 2, and then we'll just connect it up with a right angle. So let's grab another line, do that, connect these 2 points, and these 2 points. And this guy should be vertical. There's one constraint. Did I not give this a constraint? Yeah, it's 2.4, right? Alright, so let's see what is going on. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Let's see. Vertical positions should be. This is the interior there, so that is 21.75. It might actually throw something. Yeah, there's a conflicting one. So let's look for 21.75. I don't see it. Yeah, 21.75. There we go. We're good. So we're constrained now. So what we're going to do is we're going to close this, and we're going to come back here. We're in parts design still. What we're going to do is we're going to do a sweep. Oh boy, that looks good. That looks good already. Right, so that's our mount right now, and I'm okay with that. So we're going to bring that over. And so the interesting thing about this is because the constraints we have out there. Let's look at this guy here, right? So this position, we said, let's go back to the constraints and see if we can find it. Right, this one is 23, right? So we can say that, you know what, I think I need, uh, something a little smaller, right? We can change these constraints and we can make it thicker or thinner. And I think this is the most powerful thing with these parametric designers, right? Or these parametric CAD softwares is that, well, one, you have a history, and then also you have constraints here that you can adjust, right? So this 1.3 stair step right here, right? I can say, you know what, that's too big, too small. I can make that slightly bigger, right? Slightly smaller. I can make changes so quickly without having to worry about affecting anything else, right? I know that there are points that I can adjust to fine tune what I need. And just knowing, like I said, you have to change the way that you think with parametric CAD software so that you can get a good design. Um, a good design and also a good object that you can manipulate so that you don't have to go back and remember what you did for this or that or the other thing. So what we're going to do next is I want to add a plane. So what I understand is it's not advisable to draw on top of sketches. So what I need to do is I need to find the plane addition. So where is that? Ah, here we go. We need to create a datum plane, and I want it to reference this guy, right? So it's going to be based off of that. We're doing it off a plane face. We're going to say okay. And now I want to create a sketch on top of that. So now what we're working with is we're going to cut out the flanges. So I have angles here and here so that I know what the distance is between that, right? So I can cut a circle, cut a 46 millimeter circle correctly, and I can just rotate that around to make what I want. Um, let's see here. So I want to start a circle, and I'm going to constrain that. I guess we'll do radius, which is 23. Enter. And I'm going to change this to what's called a construction line. So it's not actually going to affect anything when I go to extrude or take away anything. All right, so let's get some let's get some okay, that's okay. So what I need to do right now is establish a point of reference for everything else. So what I know from here is that this the center of this mounting hole to the I guess the direct top is 39.311, right? We know that from yesterday, 39.311 degrees. So what I'm going to do is, since I have this reference angle for the proper lens pin notch, I'm going to make this these screw holes. Then I'm going to rotate them the 39.33, create this angle here, and then from there, I'm pretty sure I can infer a few other things. We'll see. We'll see if that works. So, I want a triangle polygon, and I need another circle constructor line. That radius here is this guy here, so it's 24.5. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to assign a constraint to it. 24.25. Then we have this triangle here, and I might make a line first. And then I want to attach this line to a curve. Like so. Take this line, this guy, like that, and then I want him horizontal. This is going to give me point of reference for where I can establish, or I can, match these two vertexes. So I want this guy and this guy to match. So there we go. All right. So then radius is 2 millimeters and 3 millimeters for the countersink. I feel like I'm going to worry about that later. So what I want this line, I need to remove this constraint, and then I need to be able to rotate. So I want everything locked there, I want everything locked there. And then from this guy, I want the angle to be 39.311. That is incorrect. If I were to do that, 90, whatever, I have the calculator up here. 90 minus 39.311 is 50.6 something something. So we go down here to the constraints, and we just change this to 50.689. And that should give us the location of the mounting screws. And then also give us the location of this guy here. And from there, yeah, we can continue working from there. So I just need another construction line. From there, I want to make sure that they're actually connected, so I'm going to connect them. And this guy needs to be connected for sure too. And then I can get another construction line going to the edge there. So I need that is connected. So I want to lock this guy. We're going to lock that, and we're going to lock that. So then we can assign an angle here, right? So right now we're at 26. What we need is 32.42, 32.42. All right, guys. 32.42. Index 23. Oh, let me delete that. I don't need that. Yeah. What I do need is that movement of freedom, so I can now change the angle to 32.42. There's a constraint here. All right, we're just going to delete that. Draw it out like that. Now I should be able to adjust this angle to the 32.42. Oh, come on, man. What is it? Okay. For some reason, this is coming out already constrained. So if I delete that, can I? That won't work. Yeah, that will not work. Those connected. Don't know what this constraint is, but it's getting gone. Oh, I believe that's what's going on. see if I can set this angle now. 32.43. There we go. And then from there I can just click that and say that I want that attached. And then, so we haven't put down any actual lines. Everything we're doing right now is simply giving us points of reference so that we can make actual designs based off of that. This circle here is also going to be changed to construction line, so it's less confusing. So we've got the mounting holes, we've got the lens pin notch, and then I'm going to go into Shaper and get the degree from here to here, if I can, or possibly from here to there, so we can get that down. So let's go to 2D drawings, pull that up, and then from here to here, so we're looking at 54.37 degrees. Oh, no, because I had to update it. That's right, 59.77 degrees. There we go. So then we can, from here, once I've established that angle, we can start designing or start plotting out the what do you call it? The flanges. So I'm gonna stick those guys together, and then I want this angle defined as, like we said here, 59.77. So that gives us this guy here. So if we were to draw a straight line from there to there, that looks about right. 59.77. Oh no, I'm wrong. I've actually got to change this. This is a new angle, 37.82, because I had to update this earlier. There you go. Yeah, that's more in line with it now. All right. So that's all we're going to do from here. I'm going to attach it to this guy and then plot out the rest of it. Oops. Now, if you're watching, if anybody's watching, I'm very new to this, so I'm figuring it out just as much as you guys are. I will post up tutorials that I think are probably more helpful than I am. 0.94, and then just attach these guys. I need to angle that out. Or I need to get that angle too, whatever the arc is here. Okay. So I can jump back here. And select that, say this guy here, this angle here is 54.94. Then I can attach these guys together. And then Let's get another line going. What is the hotkey for that? Coincidence C, Shift O. Okay. Angle, 2 lines. A. This is going to be oh. Okay. $53.77. Shift O. This angle is incorrect. So let's get that. It's 45.8. $45.8. That should change everything up. That looks good. That's good. All right. Coincidence. This angle here. That's 64, 66. This guy here, 55, 54. This guy and this guy. Oh, oops. It's Shift O. Yeah, okay. And then this next one, 54, 50, 55, 54. Let's get a line going. This guy, coincidences. And the angle here is 55, 54. So we got that. That is going to be the final one, which is 80 something. And I just need to verify that that is 80 something after showing those guys. So what is this angle here? Why is that wrong? Oh, that's why. I believe that's right. That does look like about 4 degrees, maybe 3 degrees. Get the calculator. 81.91 plus 2.949, 84.4. Slightly off. Where am I off? So from there to there, 59.7, 45.8, 54.94, 53.77. 64, 66. Huh. Give me a second here to figure out what's going on. So 37.82 should be this. Then from here to here, 59.77, 45.8. So this is what we're going to get. Right, so 53.77 and 50, like that. So that's my flange, but it's not adding up for some reason. Why are these angles not adding up to 360? Oh, I'm an idiot. That's why. There we go. It's taking the wrong reading. This 54 actually needs to be 56.44. And then that gives us the correct, hopefully. Is that what I have here? Close enough. 84.39, 84.4. Yeah. Good enough. Good enough. Solid. Then we can move over to creating this circle here. So this radius 21.75. And 21.75. Okay. Okay. Oakley dokley. So what we're going to do here is we're going to use the construction lines that we made to give us a way to cut pockets. So I want an arc. I gotta change this back. I want an arc from here to there and to there. I want another arc there, there, and ultimately from there to there. And then this guy is affecting that, which is not good. It's no bueno. Let's actually take those off. What are degrees of freedom that are still... I defined that, did I not? Perfect. So our constructions are fully, what do you call? They're fully constrained. What I'm going to do next is plot this out, essentially. And that is should be 23. And then I need another circle. This one is 2175. 2175. And then all I need to do now is create a few lines and constrain their centers like that, like that. Then do another line. Oops. All right. So I'm going to go to the trim tool. This guy, we're going to trim what we don't need. I need that. Don't need that. Okay, we're good there. Okay, something's wrong with my sketch. Okay. All right, I might have to revisit this so I can actually start on the assembly. But I mean, that's the basic. Just hide that. That's basic construction. I have to learn how to pocket correctly, but we've got the basic shape down already from relatively simple dimensions there. So I'm going to save this as Samyang, and then go ahead and close that. It's going to give me a very good place to start learning how to use FreeCAD correctly. Um, Give me a second here. I'm going to boot up into uh, my streaming majig. So let's pop that guy out, pop that guy in. So I've got, right now what I'm using to stream as my mic is the headset that I'm using. It's a Sony WXMs or whatever. They're Bluetooth noise canceling dealies. Um, I've got a shotgun mic that I need to make a mount for. And once I do that, um, I'll try to get some better sound quality going off that next week. I just need to print the mount. So I need to get this guy going. There we go. Go ahead and lock that into place, and we are live. Zoom back out. I'm really actually loving this Tokina 28 to 70. Um, it is what it is it's essentially a cinema lens. It's a Angelux or Angenu sister lens, right? So I mean, it's as parfocal as any parfocal regular photo lens is going to be, um, and it just makes it much easier for me to do zoom ins so that everything should be in focus or everything is in focus. Uh, Without me having to correct it without the autofocus. I don't have a native Olympus lens yet or Micro Four Thirds lens yet, so I'm waiting on getting one of those. Probably the 12 to 40, and then that should get me better focusing abilities. So today we're loading up the focusing racks, and we've got the lenses installed. The clutches are installed. Everything's buttoned up. Just got to do the focusing rings and then or the focusing tracks, and then we'll get the externals installed. The aperture ring, the face, focus grip, or focus ring, and other things like that. So we're going to leave that closed so that uh, as little dust gets in as possible. So yeah, I'm actually really disappointed. I had the chance or the opportunity to go see Russian Red live back in 2014, either in San Francisco or in Minnesota. I think it was Minneapolis. Um, I ended up not going because I figured I could go some other time, and I was actually taking a trip out of the States, so I did not go, which is actually really disappointing because I haven't been able to catch her live ever since. She just stopped touring once I got back in the States, which is really disappointing. But she's the reason I got into collecting vinyl. I What is that? I was looking for her first album, Fuerteventura. She had a limited edition collectible uh, vinyl. It came with like a bag and then also like 10 photos that she took. And then it obviously came with the record itself. But I was when I found it, I bought it, and the seller in Spain sent it over. And for some reason, I wasn't here to pick it up. And the seller had a return to sender if nobody was there to pick it up. Uh, so the first time it got sent back to the seller in Spain. So I reached out to him again, and once it got back to him, I purchased it again because I this is something I wanted. It ended up taking about 2-ish months, maybe a little longer, 2 to 3 months to get it from Spain to here because I had missed the first delivery. Um, and when I got it, I was contemplating opening it or not because it was a sealed package, never opened. But in my head, media is meant to be consumed, and media that's not consumed is what I think it's wasted. Um, I figure why not listen to it and why not appreciate it for what it is versus trying to keep on to this idea of I guess collectability or this idea of reverence. Um, I just think that music is meant to be appreciated. It's meant to be listened to, and if you buy something like a vinyl to collect it and not listen to it, I think you're doing yourself a disservice by not being able to enjoy these physical mediums that are meant to or that do deteriorate. Uh, I guess we could talk about digital degradation, but like how JPEGs eventually corrupt themselves after being open so long. But I don't think that's the same. There's always a copy. With an analog medium, it's just the playtime is finite. You can only play it so long. I have a Carole King record from the '60s, Tapestry, and I imagine it doesn't play the same as it did back in when it was released. But every scratch, every artifact of time just kind of makes every listening experience a unique one because it's slightly different. It has changed very slightly through each playthrough, because it has, the needle has worn away at the vinyl substrate, and uh, while you may think you're listening to the same thing, it imperceptibly has changed. That Lao Tzu quotes something, something, you never step foot in the same river twice or something. So, the LCD driver for the Mac should be coming in tomorrow. I should have everything set up and tested if the LCD still works. From what I understand, somebody spilled water on it on the computer on the iMac, so it may or may not work. Maybe just the main board or the logic board got fried. That's what I'm hoping, and hoping nothing with the LCD is messed up. Because when I turn it on, I don't hear anything. I don't hear hard drive spinning up. I don't hear anything, fans, nothing. So I'm assuming it's just either the power supply or the logic board. Uh, of which I don't really care too much about. The '09 iMac 20-inch kind of dated at this point, and my laptop is literally more powerful than it right now. So I just want the case around it, and if it doesn't work, I'll probably find an LCD that I can replace it with. Um, Maybe like a full HD or 4K monitor that I can throw in there. One thing I am trying to find is a touchscreen overlay for it, so I can enable touchscreen on it. And if that is something I can find in a 16:10 aspect ratio, I'll throw the Mac Mini on it so that I can use Clipper without having to use mouse and keyboard. I can just throw up a virtual keyboard, um, make it much more compact of a setup. So initially, I hated the idea of doing a live stream. I thought it was, I don't know, I thought it was just strange, right? But now that I do it, I actually I look forward to them. I don't talk a lot during the day, so these streams are just kind of my outlet for stuff like that. Give me 1 second. I gotta All right, I'm back. Uh, yeah. So as you can see here, I like to draw a little bit. I actually uh, I'm trying to find a place where I can go do live portraits. I like drawing people, and it's been a while since I've actually done drawn a model. Uh, but I guess we'll get there eventually, right? I gotta get used to the place down here. Find a place where I can find portraiture workshop so I can draw some models from real life. Um, just so I can get better, you know. I was okay-ish. Like I'm okay-ish with almost everything that I do, and that's not a lot, right? Like it's passable, right? Like with design, it's like it's all right. With design, I'm probably pretty shit with design, honestly, or visual communications or graphic design, pretty garbage. But I will say this: I was all right-ish with pencil, charcoal stick portraits. Your basic Art 101 class, right? I don't understand color. Color doesn't make sense to me. But black and white portraiture, charcoals, total sense. Everything makes sense because well, I mean, it makes sense, right? All you do is you construct lines and then you play with lights and shadows to bring depth out. With color, you got to deal with understanding how color. Who's that guy? Joseph Albert, the dude who did the book on color, right? Like you have to understand how color works with other colors and how it works in different light. And I mean, just a few years ago, the entire thing with the blue black dress or white gold dress, our perception of color and what's really there and what reality is makes no sense, right? To me at least. And that's why working with color is so difficult for me because I don't understand it. And like I see it every day. I understand that it's there, right? But it doesn't make sense when I go down to like pencil and paper. Um, just doesn't make sense. But yeah, trying to get back into the fine arts, trying to get back into just doing things that I used to like doing. I just don't do anything. Right? Don't do anything. actually. So believe it or not, a few years ago, I used to have long hair. Like man bun long hair. But it was definitely interesting. Uh, but it's so much easier shaved than having to uh, deal with drying and keeping it out of my face. It's also a hazard when woodworking and doing anything with industrial equipment because um, you're bound to get it caught up somewhere. If you would like to see, I have a video up back when I was doing the woodworking. Um, I had a dude come by uh, with a network that was trying to promote Sacramento artists. Um, I don't understand why he contacted me, but he did. And I don't understand because I don't consider myself an artist. I never have, right? Like I'm not good enough to give myself that title. You look at like anybody who's actual artist, you can understand why they're an artist, right? I'm just a scrub when it comes to stuff like that. I just kind of like doing it. There's there's an understanding that I don't have that artists do, you know. But he came over and we did a short little interview. This was maybe like a month or so after I cut my hand open, so my hand's still in a cast, right? It's not so much a cast, but a temporary mobility limiter so that I didn't tear the stitches on my tendon. Um, I was supposed to do some sort of hand therapy to get the mobility back, but I mean, like, I don't think the ring digit is too important in terms of mobility. Um, but I can't do I can't do two finger guns without this really hurting, right? Like it hurts way too much to do it that way because tendon got messed up. So I've been seriously considering changing over to Micro Four Thirds. Uh, it's a mosquito. I'm gonna get West Nile virus. I've been seriously considering switching over to Micro Four Thirds. I don't know if I can do it professionally, but I think in day-to-day use I can. Uh, I can't do it professionally because the general public doesn't really understand sensor technology, or nor do they care. So what their requirements generally are is I need you to have a DSLR or a full frame camera, right? They don't understand what that means. All they know is that they heard it from somewhere that that's what professionals use and that's what they want, right? So you can't go to these people, say I've got a Micro Four Thirds camera, uh, let's work together. This is my setup, right? Uh, Good, that's good. Uh, so I mean, like I could get away with it probably, right? For those that don't care too much, they just care about the results. Um, but I don't think I could for the virtual tours, which is actually something uh, I need to test out to see uh, how Micro Four Thirds renders 360 photos. Uh, I just know that it's probably going to be much noisier, much grainier, and it may not resolve as well. But one thing that I've always wanted to try is uh, a 360 photo with uh, pixel shift. So the OND EM1 Mark II has pixel shift, so it gives me fixed 50 megapixel resolution images, which I don't think is much different than my A7R2 at 42 megapixels, right? Um, what I'd assume is it'd be mushier and not as sharp as my A7. Um, Mushier, not as sharp, and then grain and overall noise performance would be much worse than my Sony, which is kind of why I don't want to switch professionally as well. Um, so maybe just personal camera might just be that. But yeah, I like the entire ecosystem, how small everything is, how compact things are. Uh, and general image quality is acceptable with Micro Four Thirds. But I think the biggest thing is the video part because the smaller sensor, uh, typically readout is much quicker than on full frame or APS-C. So technically less rolling shutter, right? Without having a global shutter, technically less rolling shutter and generally better shift. What's that? Steady hand, optical steady shot or a sensor tilt, whatever. Uh, it should technically have better response because of the smaller sensor, less weight, easier to move around. Um, and then also, uh, rendered depth of field at a given focal length, at a given aperture, right? I'll have a higher depth of field at each respective aperture versus on a full frame, so I don't have to worry about like razor thin uh, depth of field. So I have to worry about focus back and forth. Uh, so I mean, like it's really hard not to like the Micro Four Thirds system if you're with Panasonic or if you're with Olympus. Uh, I think it's a pretty capable system if you understand the limitations and if you understand the type of work that you do. Um, I think it's a very capable system. Maybe just not for some of the stuff that I do. Um, I mean, it's not even that intensive. It's just I like I need to deliver as high quality a photo as I can. It's kind of the reason people hire me, right? So it's kind of quiet today. I assume it's because it's a Friday. Um, Again, I don't do things anymore. So my Fridays are spent live streaming the construction or the assembly process. I was talked to a buddy of mine a little while back, and I want to start a podcast, but I don't have the authority to talk on any specific subject, right? So I proposed the idea of starting a podcast and talking about things that I have no idea or no understanding of, right? So like it could be a random topic for the day, and I would just give my opinion on it, right? Kind of as a joke, because that's surprisingly that's what we can do these days, right? We can literally open up YouTube or any recording program and just start streaming whatever we want, right? And without really any qualifications to do it. Um, but like most things that I do, or I propose that I want to do, I never actually do it because I don't know, man. I feel like podcasting now is like everybody's startup from 2010, right? It's just like in the 90s, everybody was in a band, everybody was in a startup. Now everybody has a podcast. Uh, Uh, so I'm thinking we'll probably finish up the FreeCAD demo next Monday when I have more time to figure out how to uh, correctly make a sketch so that I can uh, extrude it down or pocket it down to cut out the flange. Once that's done, then once I figure that out, everything else will be pretty easy. But I mean, general shape was you saw there. All we had to do was define some dimensions, and then we got it going. Uh, and I really need to get better with FreeCAD because I think I'm doing myself a disservice by not understanding uh, how to design parametrically. I'm pretty sure Shapered is uh, Parasolid, powered by Simmons Parasolid. Yeah, it's a Parasolid designer or CAD program, which means uh, while I can ideate and I can generate ideas quickly, uh, having something like FreeCAD or SolidWorks or anything like that that's parametric, it just to me it's so powerful because you have a history and you have the ability to adjust constraints without having to worry about how it affects the entire uh, design, right? Like you can say that you need the length of this to be that, and it shoots that length only, and I guess anything attached to it. But it's such a powerful uh, design method, and I think it's one that I need to understand how to do so that I can make better designs and that so that I can make just better things uh, with better dimensional accuracy. I mean, like maybe not better dimensional accuracy, just so I can make things that I don't forget how I made them, right? In Shaper 3D, it's really hard to go back in terms of like history. But with FreeCAD or with really any other parametric CAD software, you have a history that you can go through, and then you can also just go back to your sketch, right? Without having to worry. Okay, I guess I can make that analogy. Uh, Parasolid design is like Photoshop, which is uh, raster-based destructive editing. If you don't use layers, right, or if you at the end merge all the layers, versus parametric, which would be like Illustrator or dealing with vectors. Everything is non-destructive, and you can always go back in terms of your history to a version where you didn't mess up because uh, you did the wrong thing. I know Photoshop has a history, but I mean it's a very limited history. Um, Illustrator, I've never actually liked Photoshop except for editing photos, and like that's heavy photo manipulation, not just your regular Lightroom editing, which is what I use like 90% of the time. Um, Photoshop sucks. I hate using Photoshop just because it's so destructive. But that's the analogy I would make between Parasolid and parametric. So speaking of parasolid parametric, I am looking at getting a 3D scanner. And right now what's looking really good to me is the Scan H. It's a infrared light based scanner. And it comes with uh, Simmons Solid Edge CAD software. This is a version dedicated for the Shining 3D guys who make the Ein scanner. And what's really appealing to me is for its price point, which is 5,000. It comes with a license in perpetuity for the software. It offers the version of Solid Edge has a reverse engineering module, so you can scan things in, right? You could scan this rocket blower in, right? And then you can design off of there. And that's what I think that's the next step for me as like a 3D or as a I guess as a 3D printer or as just like a maker in general. Uh, Getting the Einscan H and being able to take real world objects into the computer without having to sit there and meticulously, uh, run my calipers through every part. You know, I can just set the scanner up, scan in the item that I need, uh, drop it into the reverse engineering module, and then build off of that. It scans in dimensionally accurate, is what I've read. So I don't have to worry about sizing things later on. I think it's just it makes sense logically for the next step. Uh, I guess of my uh, 3D printing slash product design thing, right? Because it's going to be a pain to get the uh, interior geometries of the Jeep's vent, and also that center console thing. Uh, there are a lot of organic curves to it, so uh, it'd be much easier just using a scanner to get all that detail instead of having to sit there and just measure points at point after point. So I've had a sinus infection for the past week, which is why you hear me this way, right? Like it's whenever the weather starts to get dry, dries out the nasal cavity, and it just makes my face hurt, right? Like the front of my face. I want to beat my face in because it hurts so much. Uh, but yeah, I haven't had any since moving down south, or since moving to Florida, but in Georgia, uh, there's less humidity during the week or during the winter and fall because we're not near a coast. Um, but in Jacksonville, didn't get a single sinus infection because everything was relatively humid. So the Hajime, uh, the best track. The video is it's the Lost Bloodsport edition, which is I think the only one to be watching, right? But I watched Bloodsport the other day, and that movie sucks, right? Like as a kid, I was like, man, this is great. Look at him punch and kick shit. But I mean, that movie sucks. Though, speaking of those older 80s, 90s movies, uh, I watched the original Rambo. I've never seen it, right? I haven't watched a single Rambo, to be honest. Um, except Rambo 5, I think. The one where he goes to Mexico, which I thought was actually just garbage, right? But Rocky, or I'm sorry, the original Rambo, great. Still relevant today. Uh, it's bonkers that like we made so much progress, but we still haven't fully gotten to a better place. The original Rocky, the original Rambo, Stallone was on a roll, man. But I do think that Creed was a really good send off to the entire Rocky franchise, to like a new generation. I think Creed is probably one of the better Rockies, right? Besides Rocky One. Uh, it's essentially just retelling Rocky One with different protagonists. I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab some tea time or some tea. I'm back. So I was eating at a restaurant in somewhere in San Francisco. It was a Vietnamese shop. This was a while ago, and there was this lady who came in with her friend, and she ordered the tea, right? But she ordered it so condescendingly. She was like, let me have some of your tea, but don't make it as dark as you people usually do it. I'm like, wow, lady, calm down. Just ask for your tea not steep that long. Jesus Christ. You people. What's the lady talking about? But this is chamomile with a little bit of honey for the throat. So I should be wrapping these up this week. This weekend I'll probably finish up the rest of the 70 to 80 batch, and then next week I'll be starting um, 80 to 90, and then hopefully next week we can break 100, which would be great for me uh, as like a small milestone to getting all this stuff out. Um, I'll get there. We'll get there. Me and you. We'll get there. Um, but yeah, I should be finishing these up tomorrow, packaging them up, and then sending out some emails um, if all things go accordingly. So I might have to put in an order for some more filament because I am all out of the black PETG right now. They're all loaded into the printers, so um, probably should place an order soon. But yeah, I am. I might have to sell an arm and or a leg, but definitely need to pick up that Einscan H, man. It's gonna for what I want to do with the firearms stuff. It would just make much more sense than me having to manually uh, get in those dimensions, right? Uh, and I don't want to do regular photogrammetry because that's just a pain. You gotta take so many photos, and then you gotta uh, size it correctly. I think at 5,000, that that cost of entry, that pay to play, totally fine. That fee, I think it'll pay itself off quite easily. Uh, but I'll have to get the funds from somewhere. Um, kind of, tangentially related to the Einscan. I want to start getting into like cosplay design, and not for me, like, well, maybe, but I want to get into making helmets, and I've been reluctant on designing a helmet or at least designing like a dread or Judge Dredd helmet because I don't have my head proportions in a computer. So with the Einscan H, I think it would help me. It would help give me that push to start making stuff like that, um, so that I can make it more. Uh, so I can start off the bat with the design as accurate as possible without having to print and then reprint. Uh, but that also means I need to learn Blender, uh, which I've kind of been reluctant on doing because just like FreeCAD, it's so hard to learn. But I think I think I can do it, man. I've got a few projects I need Blender's sculpting module for. So I mean, I gotta learn it at some point, right? Perfect. So I guess a few takeaways from this live stream is that I need to learn FreeCAD and I need to learn Blender. I need to stop being a lazy POS, you know? Because those I think are going to be essential in propelling my own designs, my own product designs. All right. So here's where we're at. We've got the front lens assembly, I'd say like 80% of the way there. All that's left is installing the aperture ring, a lens face, and then we've got the rear mounts left to go. Uh, I'm probably going to call it a day here, um, a little bit early on Friday. Um, I'll finish these up over the weekend, and then um, on Monday, we'll do some FreeCAD. We'll finish up the FreeCAD thing, um, and we could go over a few other things. One of the things that I would like to go over, I guess I'll do it now since there is a little bit of time, is this guy. This is, as you can see, Lights Minolta wiggle lens for the M mount. Now, right now, it only works in my Leica CL, and it works in my Leica CL only because, um, well, if I had it here, I'd show you, but I removed the, was it the photodiode, the thing that senses the light? It's got a little, the CL has, it has this overly cumbersome exposure meter thing, right? So it's something like that, and it's on a swing arm. The shutter is behind it. The cloth shutter is behind it, and then it retracts every time you fire, and the shutter opens. But to me, that just gets in the way, and I hardly ever use internal meters, right? Unless it's my Spotmatic. No, not Spotmatic. Pentax ME Super, right? That's the only one I'll use the internal meter on because I think it's a relatively reliable one. But this uses the old Kodak lenses, and even though I haven't touched them, they are developing some sort of haze. That's crazy. I'll have to. That's interesting. But yeah, it uses the standard breech lock method that I use. I have to redesign this rear piece here because to get this on, I had to cut it. So I might have to, do some stuff. But if you're interested in an M mount wiggle lens using the Kodak FunSaver lenses, this is version 1, the version 1 wiggle lens. Right here. Right here. Right here. It's the wiggle lens right here. Uh, but yeah, that's the last thing I'll show today. Um, Look how tiny it is, though, right? I took it to a concert a while back when I first finished it. Um, and literally, it looks like a Nimslo, right? Or a Reto 3D or Nishika, right? Because it's so small and compact already. Um, yeah, I'll have to put this one out there. I need to put this one out there along with the M45 or M42 version and Canon FD version. Um, those are all ready to go. I just haven't posted them yet. Um, But yeah, I'm actually like I just love the size of this lens. It's so stupid. To get proper framing, all I did was kind of look at the 40 millimeter cutout, and then I kind of guessed on there what my framing would be because this is it's like 32 millimeters. But look how tiny and compact that thing is. All right, guys. Friday or Monday. Uh, 80 to 90 and some FreeCAD stuff. Appreciate you guys for watching. This is me just kind of talking out in the void. See ya.